This deal does not apply to anyone who has come to this country recently.
Where people live in nearly constant fear that a loved one or a friend will be detained and then strapped into an airplane for deportation.
It is vital that we approach the issue of immigration with a sense of urgency, a spirit of compassion, and a commitment to security.
200,000, 300,000, 400,000 deportations a year.
Most important, reform must provide a path to citizenship for undocumented immigrants and allow them to emerge from the shadows.
It does not apply to anyone who might come to America illegally in the future. It does not grant citizenship or the right to stay here permanently or offer the same benefits that citizens receive. Only Congress can do that.
In November of 2014, President Obama announced his new executive order on immigration. In the absence of congressional action, Obama is expected to grant reprieve for some 4.9 million undocumented immigrants who have significant ties to the United States, as well as improve border security. The recent action taken by the president will grant a pathway to citizenship for 5 million illegal immigrants who have been living in the shadows. However, Obama's executive action is not amnesty. It gives temporary citizenship to a relatively small portion of illegal immigrants in our country. It does not account for the other 6 million illegal immigrants who reside here, or those who wish to seek refuge in the future.
Of the roughly 11 million undocumented parents and children, this executive action by the president would only affect about 4 million. I think some families' lives will improve. But the real question will be what this Congress will try to do. So if you are a child that is a citizen, that was born here or obtained citizenship, and yet your parents are undocumented, your parents now have a process through which they could get at least delayed deportation.
There are currently 5,723 cases waiting in local immigration courts regarding children and their families. Parents who once worried about things like showing identification when enrolling their children in schools or programs can now put some of these fears to rest.
If I am a child that has an undocumented parent and I now know that they don't have to live under the threat of being deported any given day, I'm a lot happier.
Violence is the leading factor forcing unaccompanied children from Central America to the United States. In our community, there are thousands of minors fleeing violence from countries such as Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador. Honduras has become the murder capital of the world, and gang violence has increased dramatically over the past few years. Children are forced to smuggle drugs and join gangs such as the infamous Mexican criminal syndicate Los Zetas. More than 6,000 people, many traveling as families, have died crossing the border since 1998. They make a dangerous journey into the United States, only to be detained and deported. The cost to deport these children average $5 billion per year, each person costing around $12,500.
So you have the issue of this surge in unaccompanied children. About 80,000 unaccompanied children have crossed the U.S.-Mexican border. Children from these countries are suffering from such extreme conditions of violence.
The problem we face today in our community is what to do about all the illegal immigrants, specifically the children, those that are already here and those who want to cross the border to get here.
Share of those 11 million undocumented immigrants are supporting the economy. They're working in jobs and they're working in and supporting and buying and purchasing goods here. And the United States economy depends greatly on immigrants. We always have.
It's surprising to see that there are over 250,000 illegal immigrants living in Maryland at the moment, and about 90,000 unaccompanied alien minors estimated to make the trek across the border in 2015. Since October of 2014, over 52,000 children, mostly unaccompanied and from Central America, have been taken into custody. This is double last year's total, and 10 times the number from 2009.
Of the counties surrounding DC and DC itself, we have the highest number of unaccompanied children. So if you look at, say, Prince George's County has over 1,000, Fairfax County has about 1,100, and then DC, this was all as of September, and DC has over 300.
We spend $1.1 billion on education for illegal immigrant children already in our state. 6,000 more children are expected to swarm the DC area by the end of the 2014-2015 school year. DC is currently trying to accommodate for these large groups of children coming into the system.
There may be a lot of us in Washington, D.C. that feel that it should have gone farther. But there are a lot of people on border states that spend a lot of money in taxes, that see their taxes going up because their schools have to take in more and more children, and their social services have to support more and more adults that aren't paying taxes.
But everyone deserves a path to citizenship. Obama's executive action shows DC and Maryland, our community, how to bring a change and how to bring hope. It's a step in the right direction, but it's only a single step. It helps many of those who have already crossed the border to live legal lives here, but it also leaves those who have yet to come, the millions of struggling children who wish to enter the country, in the shadows.
If you've been in America for more than 5 years, if you have children who are American citizens or legal residents, if you register, pass a criminal background check, and you're willing to pay your fair share of taxes, you'll be able to apply to stay in this country temporarily without fear of deportation. You can come out of the shadows.